Hey everyone, grab your tea and relax. If you are new here and you have never seen my face before, my name is Dr. Tarvala and I'm currently working in London. As you may have already figured from the title, in this video I'm going to show you how I spent my weekend as a doctor with a side hustle. Having worked as a junior doctor for a year already, oh my god, time flies, right? I feel like I've figured out a decent work-life balance. I think one of the biggest things I've taken away from the pandemic is realizing what things are actually important for my well-being. From that, I've learned to prioritize the things that truly matter. I'm currently on my GUM placement for the next 4 months. GUM stands for genitourinary medicine. In terms of my day-to-day job, I'm working in sexual health. More specifically, my job is predominantly divided into telephone consultations and face-to-face consultations.
Hi, Dr. Tarvala. My name is Dr. Tarvala. I'm calling from the Sexual Health Centre in London. Can I confirm your full name and date of birth, please? Alright, is this an okay time to talk?
My experience with telephone consultations so far has been mainly repeat prescriptions. For example, a patient has been on a long-term contraceptive and they're beginning to run out of that and they'd like some more sent to them. Face-to-face appointments tend to consist of patients who usually have some sort of symptoms. For example, a female might present with abnormal discharge. By abnormal, I mean something that's different and changed for them. So I'll go through a systematic approach asking them about pain, discharge, dysuria, itching in that area, bleeding, skin changes, and these consultations usually end with some medications that we give the patients to take home.
Oh, is that for me? Oh, thank you, I appreciate that.
And also some extra tests that we might do, like swabs that we'll send off to the lab and get results back within a week or so. This job is from 9 to 5, Monday to Fridays, which means I get all of my weekends off for the next 4 months. This does mean that it gives me a lot more flexibility as to how I want to spend my weekends. For me, it's highly important that I'm getting time to myself, especially in the mornings. And it's my time to really reflect on and process thoughts and feelings that I have developed over the past week or so. That's why I like to start off my Saturday morning, immersing myself into any little bit of nature before the world has really woken up. Given the fact that I'm sitting for most of the day in clinics, it is important to me that I'm getting some exercise in throughout the week. If you have been following me on Instagram, you would know that for the last few weeks or so, I've been posting videos of me skipping around 6 to 8 a.m. every morning. And the idea is not only am I getting more fit in the process, but I'm also sharing this morning motivation with you guys in case it inspires you to also do something similar. Because face it, there's something that all of us can do in order to improve our fitness, health and well-being. I then make a highly nutritious drink that's also caffeinated because these days I have to admit I'm kind of addicted to caffeine. And the reason that came about is purely social. If I'm seeing my colleagues just sit down with a cup of tea, am I going to just sit there and watch them? No, I'm going to want my own tea as well. I usually work out from home, but recently I signed up to a local gym. And here's how this came about. One of my long-term friends has been going to the gym with her brother. She was like, oh my gosh, mama, like, let's be gym buddies. I've had gym buddies for like weeks at a time, but no like long-term gym buddy, and I'd love to have a buddy to work out with. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take you up on that offer. And the idea was that we'd go in at like 5 in the morning, work out, shower, go to work, she'd go home, and then my girl got a job offer. So now she has to be at work at 10 in the morning, which means that she has to leave her house super early, and then she finishes quite late. This does mean that we'd have to wake up like super early to get to the gym. We decided that won't be too feasible or healthy longer run. So I decided to check out the gym on my own. I cycled to the gym and then realized that I'm not actually allowed to take in bicycles into the gym, and that apparently the area isn't safe enough to leave my bike out. So yeah, that was a bit sad and I need to figure out what I'm gonna do about that. I had a pretty good workout. I managed to work out my lower body and do a bit of cardio in the process. The side hustle that I had planned for the day was to film and create a video for a university friend of mine who has founded this course called Make a Medit, which you are welcome to learn more about following the link in the description below. As part of this, he worked with a company in Canada in order to distribute 3D printer stethoscopes in third world countries. This will help clinical year medical students to improve their skills in auscultation. Additionally, he's working on another project that helps to improve the skills of medical students in order to be able to provide vaccination to those in their community. So of course, these are all really great stuff that he's doing, and I feel really happy to be a part of helping him share the stories.
Behind the scenes, no, sure.
In terms of what this project meant for me, I had to pack like all of my videography equipment and take it to the other side of London. He had booked an area of the university where I did my intercalation, and it was kind of weird being back. It's almost like I had forgotten about the university as a whole, just being immersed into working life. I had set up my lighting equipment, both cameras, my new microphone, which I hope you like the sound of. I'd taken my iPad, my laptop, in order to ensure the audio is working fine. After the shooting, we had a bit of a catch up, and then I went to the cafe in order to work on the videos to see if I had all the footage that I wanted. And the thing about making videos for me is that usually when I film a video, I want to see the final product ASAP. So it helps me to edit the video straight away. If I let the videos brew for a while, for months or weeks, which we know I'm guilty of, then it makes editing a little bit difficult because I don't really remember what the good parts were, what the bits were that I had to reshoot. Following that, I was able to dedicate a few hours to creating this video, and I sent him a draft. And here was the feedback. Mama Tarvala Video Productions, you guys know where to find me. Okay, so that's like the side hustle that's not medical related out of the way. Another thing I got up to is I did a shift at my old trust. So here's the thing, I'm on genitourinary medicine for the next 4 months, and the skills that I'm practicing there are really different to the skills that I was practicing throughout my last year in hospital medicine. And here's my thought process. If I don't exercise the skills in hospital medicine, and I work pretty damn hard to develop, then when I move on to my next placement, which is in medicine, and it's going to be a lot more hectic than the next 4 months, I might not be quite as sharp. And therefore what I want to do is do a few shifts here and there in medicine to keep up with my skills and my knowledge. And additionally, I find hospital medicine really quite satisfying, and you know, being with patients who are really unwell, using my knowledge and skills in order to help improve their quality of life. That shift was pretty nice. It helps to have colleagues who are nice and easy to work with, and overall I really enjoyed it. After the shift, I went straight back into video editing for Laz. I got so in the zone. I was just there after work just editing, and then somebody was like, oh, your night shift is done, don't you want to like go home? Yes, and so I did that. Another thing that I wanted to add about this whole video making for this particular friend of mine is as follows. My first ever photography shift as an event photographer was hosted by Laz. This was on a purely voluntary basis. Around the time I had Googled how to get rid of social anxiety, and one of the top hits was event photography. And the idea was you can get close to people, chat to people if you wanted to, but the moment that you don't want to talk to people, you can just be like, okay, bye, I'm on my job. Which makes sense, right? I contacted Laz to say that I would do the photography for his event. It was a football bop at Imperial. I had bought this DSLR camera not too long before the event. I had also rented an external flash gun. After we had agreed the shift, Laz had asked me something along the lines of, by the way, do you have a DSLR camera? And jokingly, I replied with saying, well, actually, I have a Sony camera, which is the best camera phone on the market, so I was hoping to use that. And he replied saying, hang on, I think I'm gonna need to speak to my colleagues about whether this is acceptable. And he got back to me saying, well, actually, if you're shooting from a phone, people might not know that you're the actual photographer for the event, so... To which I replied saying, it's a joke, I have a camera which I'm gonna bring. And then the day came, I shot the event, I had so much fun, and I also got really good feedback, which was a positive step to me wanting to do even more event photography. Maybe about 50 shifts later, here I am. The reason I'm telling you this story is it's really quite a nice feeling having started off working for, let's call Laz a client, doing that on a purely voluntary basis, to now me having all the equipment that I have today in order to do something a lot more professional. And that just feels nice. And it's a reminder for me to continue working hard and putting my all into the work that I do. The following day, one of my creative friends and I went to a cafe in order to get some video photo editing done. What we did was film some footage for the vlog and then faffed around for 3 hours.
Look, it's an espresso cup. Open it.
Mama, You think you're so fun.
On the plus side, this does mean that I have more evenings and time in order to immerse myself into video editing, which is something that I truly enjoy. Today is my Ummy's birthday. If you'd like to leave her some messages, then leave them below in the comments and I'll show them to her. On my way back from work yesterday, I went and bought some flowers and a cake for her. We'll hopefully celebrate properly after work today. As for now, I'm gonna get going. If you enjoyed the video, it will really help me out if you gave the video a thumbs up and if you shared it with at least one friend. I hope to continue sharing my journey with you and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.